first slicha that we say on Asar Teves is actually discussing none other than Saint Peter, the first pope in Rome. The Shulchan Aruch at the end of Hilchos Tainis, Siman Tov Kuf Pei, gives a whole list of Tanesim from another Megillas Tainis. These Tanesim we don't observe. However, for Chodesh Teves, Shulchan Aruch has the Shulchan Aruch lists two fasts on the 8th day. It says B'chamisha B'shmoyne B'Teves Nichtava Atayr Yevanis B'Mei Talmei HaMelech V'Yachoshech Ba'olam Shloisha Yomim. On the 8th day was the day that Septuagint was written, the translation of the Torah into Greek, and B'Tesboy on the 9th day of Teves Lo Noida Ezi Hatzara She'ir Boy. It's not known, some sort of a mysterious reason why they instituted a fast. All the other fasts that the Shulchan Aruch lists, about 20 different days. Every single one has a reason. But as by the Magen Avram says, in our Slichos, it says that Ezra Sefer died. What's he referring to? He's referring to the first Slicha that we say, Ezkara Matzaik, Asher Karani, B'Shloisha Makas B'Chodesh Hazeh Yikani, and then the Slicha lists the 3 consecutive days, the Chesed Teves, which is the day that the Torah was Nichtava B'Yevanis, and Tes Teves, which is this Lo Noida Ezi Atzarei, and Asar Teves, what is the fast on the Korban. On the Tes Teves, this Slicha says clearly, Taref Teref B'Anoisen Imrei Shafar, who has a Sefer. This Slicha is from the Kadmonim, from the early Rishonim. It's now known that it was written by Rabbi Yosef ibn Avitar, a Talmud of the Arba Shvuyim. He started off in Sfarad, and he himself brought it to Mitzrayim, and from there went to Europe and to the Ashkenazi communities. It's a very, very a well-known and accepted slicha. But the problem is, that's the Magen Avram. The Magen Avram says it as a reason, but the Taz presents it as a kasha. The Taz says, Tema Gedolah ha'isa b'slichas shel Asar B'Teves, the B'Tes Boy makes Ezra HaSefer v'tzarchi and Rav. So in other words, the Taz is asking, how could the Shulchan Aruch say we don't know? What do you mean we don't know the reason? Of course we know. Everyone knows. This is the first slicha is called Esker Matzik. Over there it says clearly that the reason why we observe the reason for the Tes B'Teves, the fast on Tes B'Teves, is because of Misas Ezra HaSefer. So how could it be that the Shulchan Aruch says Lo Noida Ezi Atzarei? Now, Lemaisa, Misas Ezra HaSefer can't really be the only reason for this fast. Why? For 2 reasons. First of all, like the Taz says, that it says Lo Noida. We don't know. We don't know the real reason, so it can't be the reason that's well known, which is Misas Ezra HaSefer. And this Lo Noida is not just the Shulchan Aruch's wording. The original source for this fast is from the Megillas Tainis, and the Megillas Tainis itself says Lo Yamru Rabbeinu Amahu, and if it's Lo Yamru Rabbeinu Amahu from the Megillas Tainis, so obviously they themselves were keeping some sort of a secret what the reason is. That's first of all. Secondly, in the Megillas Tainis also it says Lo Yamru Rabbeinu Amahu, and then it says Vishemes Ezra HaSefer. So obviously, besides the fact that it's Lo Noida, besides the reason of Lo Noida Rabbeinu, there's another thing of Misas Ezra HaSefer, which is a separate, independent reason, and there is some sort of a mysterious, secretive reason which is not defined in Megillas Tainis and not in the Shulchan Aruch. So what is this reason? So it's been commonly accepted now that the reason that the Shulchan Aruch and the Megillas Taanis are referring to is a reason that has been introduced by Hagoyis Baruch Frankel Tumen in the back of Shulchan Aruch, and he says that it's actually talking about Saint Peter. He says that Matzasi Kasuv Matzasi Kasuv Necht B'tzida Matzasi Kasuv Matzasi B'chsav Yad Shebetes B'Teves Nifter Shemen HaKalpos She'Shias Yisrael B'Tzorah Gedolah B'Zman HaPritzim Nikri Yem Yisasel L'Tanis Olam B'Yushalayim. On Tes B'Teves Shemen HaKalpos died. Who's Shemen HaKalpos? The Baruch Frankel Tum is referring to a tradition that we have from Toldos Yeshu, which is a sefer that describes the development of the early Christians in the words of Chazal, our tradition, and in our tradition, the Yidden were suffering from two major problems from the early Christians. First of all, the Christians were harassing the Yidden, and secondly, the Christians were too similar to the Yidden. So this Shimon HaKalpos, who was a Tana, he went over to their side. He made as if he was one of them, and he was able to rise through the ranks very quickly. He became the Pope. He became the first Pope, and he was able to talk them out of harassing the Yidden, and he was able to move them away from Jewish Christianity to more of a Gentile Christianity, which was very clearly not Yiddishkeit, and there was less problems. That's the tradition. And he says, "B'tes boy," that on the ninth day Shimon HaKalpos died, and actually in some of the versions of Megillas Yeshu, it says clearly that on the ninth day of Teves, Shimon HaKalpos dies, and they kavu Tainus. That's Baruch Frankel. But the problem is that even after this, even if that's the pshat, the Taz's kasha is still shver, because the Taz said, this piyut says clearly only three reasons. And it only discusses the three different days. It talks about Talmei HaMelech on Tes B'Teves. It discusses only Ezra Sefer on Tes B'Teves and the Churban of Yud B'Teves. If the real reason is this mysterious reason, which we're defining is Shemon HaKalpos, so how come the Python, the one that the author of this Slicha, goes ahead and just discusses Misa says Sefer as if that's the whole reason? So the Maisa, in the middle of the Slicha, after discussing these three reasons, the Python says, Al Eila Al Pane Avik Zarisi, Patzti Al Arbaton Lu Chetz Belibi Yarisi. Of some Patzti Al Arbaton. Patzti Al Arbaton is he fell apart because of Arbaton, the four things. Which four things? There's only three things. What's Al Arbaton? So the Mefarshim assume that Arbaton is not actually four different tzaras. It's really three tzaras, but there's a fourth date in Chodesh Teves because, as the Gemara in Rosh Hashanah discusses, that it's a machlokes tanoim. It was a machlokes tanoim when we should observe the Tzayim HaAsiri, the fast of Chodesh Teves. Reb Kiva says it should be on the 10th day, like we do Asar B'Teves, but Reb Shimon says it should be on the Hey B'Teves. So, and the reason for Hey B'Teves, like Reb Shimon, is because the diaspora Jewry heard about the Churban on Hey B'Teves, and that day was the day that they observed the first, and that was the day that they observed, and they became also Yom HaShmor Ki Yom HaSreif, as if the day that they heard it, that became their sad day, and the Python itself, the one that in Esker Matzak, he does refer to it somewhat. He says, "Say the pranis b'sech levavi avir b'voy elai apal leima hilksei." So therefore, the Mepharshim want to say that that's what Patzi Alabata means. It's not actually a fourth day. It's actually it's just a fourth incident, but it's not a fourth tzara. That's how the Mepharshim assume in Pshat and the Albatin. But Lefizeh, we could say that Albatin is 4 different tzaras, and we'll answer the Taz's kasha. Past the Albatin is 4 separate tzaras. There's this 4th mysterious tzara that we didn't discuss yet in the Slicha, but it's here. That 4th mysterious Slicha is here. Is that past the Albatin? But it gets better. Because if you look at the Arugas Haboisim is a sefer on a lot of the piyutim. He says that we're actually reading the wrong gears in this slicha. If you look at the slicha, our slicha starts Esker Matzak Asher Karani B'Sholish Makas B'Chodesh Hazeh Hikani. Says the Arugas Haboisim, it's not really B'Sholish Makas. The real gears said Esker Matzak Asher Karani B'Arba Makas B'Chodesh Hazeh Hikani. There's 4 makas. It's a secret. We don't discuss what they are, but there is 3 makas that are discussed in this that happened in this chodesh. What are the 4 makas? It's the 3 that we discussed clearly, and then there's the 4th one, which is Shemna Kalpis. That's the 4th one, which we're not going to discuss. We're not going to discuss clearly, but we just say that there's 4 makas, that's the 4th makkah. I just want to add one more thing, that if now they found this Esker Matzak, they found it in the Cairo Geniza, and over there's some other small shinuyim. There's some other small differences. Over there, instead of saying al Tzoros al Eila Kever Li Karisi, and that coming after, already talking about Patfiel Arbatim, over there goes like this: Alpane Ovik Zarisi, on my face I threw dirt. Ve'al Eila Kever Tsarli Karisi. On these things, a very small grave, something, a tsarli, a very small grave, I dug. And then it starts Patfiel Arbatim Lichitz B'Libi Yarisi. It could be that this is a reference also to Shimon HaKalpos, to Shimon Peter, because in a lot of the versions of Toldos Yeshu, it says that he wanted to be, he didn't want to live amongst the goyim themselves. He didn't want to live amongst them, so he told them to build him a small little tower, and he lived there. And they just used to give him water and bread under the door, and he sat there and he was learning, and he wrote piyutim. He wrote a lot of Rishonim discuss maybe he was the author of Nishmas that we say every Shabbos, and he lived there for 6 years, and he wanted to be buried in that thin tower. That's the Val Eila Kevet Tzar Li Karisi.